Hi, my name is Geoff Webb, and this is Ask Geoff, where I answer your questions about job search and job search related matters. So come on to the kitchen, let's chat. Hey everybody, it's Friday, so this is Ask Geoff, where I answer your questions about job seeking and job search. And yeah, I'm using the iPhone camera today because it's better than the HD Flip. Who would have guessed it? I know. But enough of this dilly-dallying. Let's get to the questions. Facebook question. How can a job seeker overcome the unemployment mindset, aiming too high versus being complacent about getting any old job? So to answer this first question, I think there's been actually a lot of good examples of this recently. Some friends who have had potential offers which didn't really meet 100% of their requirements and are struggling frankly, I don't know why I said that, maybe it was a bit of a Freudian slip there, but frankly to figure out whether or not this is the right opportunity for them. So I think you have to take it back to the point where it's a good idea before you go out on your job search to actually understand what it is you're looking for. Now that could be, so it could be anything from sitting down and doing a pros and cons list, so or just a wish list of what kind of role would be really exciting for you. What were some of the things in your last role that you really didn't like, and what were some of the things that you really wanted to do that was going to stretch your skills that you weren't able to do? And then what were some of the things that you really loved, whether it was the people, the place of work, the distance, the commute, whatever the case may be. In terms of the unemployment mindset, I think if you set expectations around what kind of role you would accept and what are some of the framework around that role, then you're probably not going to get stuck into a mindset. I think a mindset has an awful lot to do about the fact that people just often don't really understand what it is that they want. They don't understand what it is that they want out of the next job, and so they start to fling around looking for that sort of perfect fit without doing the research up front. I know that as recruiters, we don't go after a role without really understanding and doing research about what it is that hiring manager is looking for. I think it's the same thing as a job seeker. You should do that research yourself as well as to what kind of a role you're looking for. So first step, sit down, create this is what I loved about my last job, this is what I hated about my last job, this is what would have made it better, and then make a pros and cons list when you do finally get those 2 or 3 offers that hopefully come in, and hopefully that's going to help you choose the right career for you. Facebook question. Where are the senior VP and C-level jobs listed? So to answer this second question, I'm going to say that I'm not a big fan of looking for where jobs are listed. I mean, you can always go for the big job board aggregators, things like simplyhired.com or indeed.com. They're going to have a fair variety of VP C-level positions. The Ladders is always telling us that they only go after C-level or 100,000 plus jobs as well. But I'm not a big fan of job boards or looking on job boards or potentially waiting for that job to come to you. I'm a big fan of networking, both online and offline, and almost everybody has a large network these days. If you go and figure that about, even here on Facebook or on YouTube or on the many different social networks that we're all on these days, that we're making on average about 190 to 200 friends. Those friends all have 190 to 200 connections as well. What I think happens a lot of times is people don't get strategic around their marketing campaign with their job search, and so they don't create a really good resume that's a marketing document, but they also just don't let their friends know. They don't reach out for help from their various networks. LinkedIn is a great tool to find a potential career, but I don't necessarily recommend LinkedIn jobs. So what I'm going to recommend today is that you go out there and you make a list. Make a list of the top 10 companies that you want to work for and the reasons why you want to work for that company. Then I would suggest you go on LinkedIn, you find a contact with that company, and just set up a meeting. Try and set up a meeting just to say you're interested in a potential position with them. Go in, do the interview with the C-level executive or the meeting with the C-level executive, explain your skill sets. There may not be a role there right now, but they may know of something. And also don't be afraid to attend some of those networking events that are going to be attended by the executives that hopefully you want to work with. So job postings, not a big fan of them, but we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the next question. Facebook question: I hear of the hidden job market. What is it and how do I access it? So the question, where is the hidden job market? Well, the hidden job market is literally, Lauren, everywhere. There's hidden job markets down on Queen Street where I live. There's the hidden job market amongst my friends. There's the hidden job market amongst peers. Basically, only about 20% of all jobs are ever actually advertised. A lot of stuff gets filled internally through referrals. A lot of stuff gets filled, externally just through networking. We're talking a lot about networking in this show, but it is one of the great things that job seekers can do. And once you've gotten that job, here's another important fact: don't stop your networking. Don't stop putting out content. Don't stop talking about the cool things in your industry, because what happens is people get a cool job and they kind of cut themselves off from that job network that they created 2 or 3 years later, or maybe 4 or 5 years later. And we all know that people change jobs about 8 times during their lifetime, and sometimes total career changes. But when that time does come, they find themselves without that network and they have to start all over again from scratch. I'm a big fan of the idea of have an exit strategy, have something that you want, some people that you want to stay in touch with, and then network with those people all the time. Hopefully, when you're ready to change that job will come to you. So that's really the real hidden job market, is when somebody calls you up and says, "Hey, Lauren, I'm interested. I'm looking for this kind of person. I think you'd be a perfect fit for the job. Would you like to come in and talk with us?" You're not potentially looking at the time. You're what they call a, quote, passive job seeker. Again, I hate the words passive and active job seekers, because I believe most job seekers are actually active between about 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. on any given Monday morning. But when you're in the passive job seeking status and you have people calling you, it's much easier to make an informed decision about whether or not you want to go to that role, as opposed to when you're feeling desperate around your job situation. Hope that helps. Guys, that's been about it for me this week here on Ask Geoff. Obviously, you've seen different video format, because again, we're using the iPhone video camera this time, and I think the quality's actually a little bit better. But if you've liked this video, then certainly give us a thumbs up in the thumbs up, and of course subscribe for our upcoming episodes. If you do have a question from a job seeker perspective, you can always leave those on Facebook, Google and Twitter, Google Plus and Twitter, and or you can leave a comment on this video, and we'll answer those in an upcoming episode. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck with your job search. Happy hunting and happy Friday. My name is Geoff Webb, our Radical Recruit, and I will see you next week.